Welcome to the Middle Prognosis. My name is Lee. Now, in today's video, we are looking at the Mooer Ge200. So I've done a video on this before, but what I want to try with this video is just recording directly from here, straight into the mixing console. I'll make it a little bit more interesting. So I've done this with another video with some different equipment, so I thought, let's see what happens if I do it with this one. So in my band Shadows at Bay, we recorded a song in 2019 called I Can't Save Your Life. And in that song, there are three different guitar patches that I use. So I thought it would be really cool if we put a camera to this, we'll dial in the three patches together, then we'll record it, listen to it all in a full mix. So there's going to be guitars all over the place because it's not a super busy song, but busy enough where it's going to take multiple takes to fill all the different guitar parts that are needed. Add drums and bass to it, and then see how it all sounds together to see if it holds up, or not really just hold up, but how it does sound in a full band mix, just doing that. So the song, I Can't Save Your Life, has three different guitar patches in it. It has a heavy distortion patch. You've got to have that. We've got a lead patch, which is always fun. And it's got a modulated patch, which I use a flange for. If you don't know what flange is, you're going to hear it because it's a lot easier for me to show it to you by the sound rather than trying to verbalize what it is. It's super addictive and fun. And pretty much if you heard anything from Van Halen in the 80s, he loved it as well. So let's put this to the test, record it, and then we'll have some thoughts about it afterwards. So the Mooer Ge200. Let's see how it holds up. Okay, now I have everything set up, ready to go. So first what we need to do is, let's go to some patches that I have no idea. So let's go to gent tone. This is what gent tone sounds like. Sure. So we've got gent tone, fatter old, and chorus. Now I'm going to resist playing Come As You Are. So they're the patches that we're going to mess with and get rid of because they're just factory ones. So I'm just going to double click on all these, turn everything off. So that's what we've got coming through just at the moment, which is clean. We don't want clean. We want some overdrive. So what we need to do is start off with amp. EV is actually good, but I don't like those settings. So we go, add a bit of bottom end. Mid's all right, trebles, oh, I like a lot of presence. And master, that's fine. Sounds like crap. So what we need is we need some speakers. You want a speakers thing? No, you're not. Yes, you are. What am I talking about? All right, so we've got a bunch built in here. So I'm not going to go through and do a full demo of what's going on with this, but I'll kind of give a quick run through as I'm going. So I've got a bunch of preset ones here that you can just go through. But I want to go through the ones that I've uploaded. So I've got lots. Oh, Cole, he's another YouTuber. Yeah, out of respect, let's go Cole. Let's use his. So, just like that. So that emulates different tubes, that's fine. Let's go back to the amp now. See if we can add a bit more gain now that we've got a good speaker. That's sounding all right. So let's just add a little bit more bass. That's sounding all right. Roll back to treble a little bit. Sounding all right. So now we're going to go back to the distortion overdrive section. And let's see if we can find a good boost. So we've got an 808 boost, a pure boost, flex boost, drive, all the rest are overdrives, I think. Yep. Let's go for a classic 808. So let's just do it off on. Yeah, let's leave that on. Now, we're getting a little bit of hiss coming through because we're pushing the signal pretty hard. Now, we have a noise gate here. Let's turn it off so you can hear the difference. So straight away we've got the buzz coming back. Just going to keep that on because that works really good. Now I do like a good EQ. All right, so that's been EQ'd to the factory settings of the Gent. So get a bit more bottom end coming in. that's not sounding too bad. Part of me wants to add more bass and bottom end, so when I do those palm mutes, they pop out more and give a little bit more overall body. But the trap I don't want to fall into, which is very easy to fall into, is because we'll be doubling up on this for when we do the recording. If you double up on it, that means it doubles up on all those frequencies as well, which means it might become too boomy and too muddy and take away the clarity. So I'm going to keep it a little bit drier. What I am actually going to do is what I should have done from the start. All these patches we're putting together is for a song. We know the song's written. So I should be playing some of those riffs from the songs so we can get a feel to see if it is going to fit or not. I played the wrong note there, but you haven't heard the song yet, so you don't know. I think that's sounding pretty good for that, so I'm just going to save it. And B20, yes. And you can call it something else. And I can't remember how to change all this. So we're going to save it as gent tone because I don't want to muck around too much with this trying to figure out how to do it when we have stuff to do. So same deal as before. Turn everything off. Now we start again. We get an amp happening. Last time we had, what do we have? Because it sounded pretty good. EVH. It's not really EVH, but that's what their main is going to be. That sounds horrid because we need speakers. So let's so this, for example, sounds nice and full with a lot of body and a lot of bottom end. But if you start doubling up on those guitars, those bottom frequencies are just going to take over the mix and things are going to start getting lost. Nothing against this cab simulation, but it's not EQ'd and set up properly for it. So the settings that we have right now for it sound awesome by itself, but once you start adding things to it, it changes. So you've got to be wary of that when you're coming up with these tones. All right, I think we just stick to Cole again. So now, what do we have before? We had it on the 30. Yeah, I'm going to say yes. So go back to the amp. So now, because we're doing the lead patch, I like to add a little bit more gain to the lead patch, which normally you fall into the territory of possibly oversaturating a guitar tone. Actually, this is sounding pretty good. On most occasions, you fall into the territory of oversaturating. And the distortion starts to break up and starts to get a little bit too fuzzy. Actually hasn't done it with this though, which is pretty cool. But you don't normally need to worry. How I approach lead patches, I don't normally worry too much about that because you're not dealing with the rhythm territory. We're dealing with lead territory. So we're worried more about that territory. Off note there, but we don't talk about that. So yeah, having the bass rolled off is good. I'm going to bring up the mids a little bit. A little bit more. Yeah, it's got a lot of bite to it. Let's see how the presets sound up. I like it. So, all right, it's got a noise killer. Let's see if this is going to take too much of the sound away though. That's a really good, well, it's called noise killer, but it's a noise suppression. That is just super clean. I really like that. So I don't think we need to worry about EQ for this because it's sounding all right. I don't even think we need a boost for it either. Let's keep this one a bit simpler. But what I do want is a delay. All right, so let's alter this a little bit. So we want more in the mix. I think going the sub is the difference in tone of what you're playing compared to what's playing back in the delayed notes, and I think a chord is good. Time. I might just make it a little bit more. Let's try 650. Yeah, I don't mind that. So let's just save that. Once again, I'm not going to delve into how to retype them. So we've got lead, rhythm, lead, not chorus. As much as it's fun playing, it's not what we were after. So we reset it back to 0. We'll keep to the same amp because I like, if I can find it, there you are. There's that horrible sound. Make it sound really good by adding our YouTube buddy Cole's cabinet response. So now I've got the distortion. Actually, let me change to tubes to that. It just reacts the best out of all different options and the very, very little that I've actually tried. So, like all my videos, if you if you chose to invest more time in doing these, you could come up with a lot better results. But we're just doing a quick one for this video. So now I had a noise killer. So I love it, just love it. Really, really awesome feature they've got in here. I don't even need to touch anything. Like the pre-settings they've got are just perfect. But enough babbling. So I got another distortion sound, which is not what we're after. We're after a flange. But the trick that I stumbled across when I first came up with this patch was I actually got a flange effect over an existing overdrive sound like this. So I need the overdrive sound first, and then we go to mod and flanger. That needs some editing. So the rate needs to be slower. Yeah, I think that's a really nice speed mix. Yeah, I want it high in the mix. I really want it to be a dominating feature of the patch. And feedback, so let's dial it back. Now I've fallen into the trap of me just having too much fun. I've found the effect, I've got it here, it's all working, and now I'm just doodling around. So let's save this and move on. So we have the flange effect. The lead patch. That's the lead patch. And our rhythm tone. Yeah, I'm really liking that. That's sounding good. So the only thing that we haven't done which I'm normally a very strong advocate of, is setting all the volumes to roughly the same. Oh, not to the same, but to what's necessary for when you use it live. So when you do change between effects, nothing's going to blast out the front speakers or be so quiet suddenly when you change it that no one knows what the hell's going on and it sounds like you've been turned off during a live gig. But for this one, I'm going to keep it the same because I'm doing separate takes in the studio anyway, so we alter each individual take as we go. So it's not really that big of a concern right now. But yeah, that's not what I preach. That's normally not what I practice because good habits, well, they're good for a reason, and that is definitely a good habit. And what I'm doing now is not. But I am absolutely babbling now. This little gear part has gone on for long enough. I mean, it should go on for longer really because I should have delved in or invested more time in delving in with these to get it sounding a little bit more cleaner. But from what I've got right now, quickly just scrounging through it, I don't really want to sound like I'm downplaying it though, because they do sound pretty decent. But let's see how they sound in a band mix. So I'm going to take some time off the camera. I'm going to record each different take, because I think there's 5 maybe different guitar parts I'm going to need to be swapping and doing. So I'll put them in the little Brady Bunch setup with me playing bass as well. We'll add drums, listen to it all together, and yeah, I'll meet you all on the other side, and we can have a chat about it afterwards. Sit back and please enjoy the tune. Time for my final thoughts on the GE200 by Mooer. So firstly, when we dialed everything in, finding everything on here was super simple. I kind of felt like I rushed a little bit of it during the video because I didn't want to take up too much time, like delving into here. But as you could see, as I was going through, you just push, it's all laid out there, you're chained for you. So they all run in that order, they're all there. You push it on once, it selects it. You push it the second time in a row and it turns it off. Really simple, really straightforward. And everything was, as you saw, and hopefully you feel the same as you saw it going through, it was really easy to find. You had your amps, you push the little button there and that twist, you push it again and it goes into like searching mode. So one click to select it, to go into that mode, click it again to go back into roaming mode, for lack of a better term. You push save and that's it. As I said, there's a way how you can change the name and all that, but I thought that was a little bit too fiddly and all that for what this video was about. So we just kept the names of whatever the built-in names were, but that's fine because we're after the sounds, not the fancy titles. Which is something I should really care about because if I label some of these videos better, I might get better hits. But we are here now and you are here watching it, and that's all that matters. And that's what makes me happy, as well as playing with this. So, I mean, there's not much else to really talk about this in regards to this. I mean, just a quick rundown. It's very well built and put together. The buttons feel really good. The screen is nice and clear and a good size. And it's really bright too, and which I find it helps because some other ones I've used have been a little bit dull, a little bit hard to see, where this little display screen is really well done. And like most of these units that I use, I only capture about 4% or 3% of its actual capabilities because I know they can do a hell of a lot more. So yeah, I gave a little bit of a quick example of what it was like without having a cab on, as in speakers on, and what happens to sound when you do turn speakers on and change it, which I argue it makes the biggest difference out of the overall sound when you're coming up with guitar tones. So it was really nice to show it via this, and this emulates it. I perceive to be really spot on, which is good. So let's talk about the patches I put together and the actual song, because that's what it was for. It was for the song. So first I will say this. I like the mix. As in, I like where they all sat. I thought it complemented the drums and bass really well, and its counterparts. So when I doubled up on the guitars, the left-right complemented the right, and vice versa, and as well as the extra little lead or the melody track that I put over it. The flange I thought sat in really nicely, just straight in the center by itself, and it didn't feel too hollow and set back. And I say that not in regards as in my engineering skills, but more in regards to what we got straight out of this unit here. So the sounds of what we got is what I used for the mix. I panned them left and right, and that was pretty much it. I didn't do much else to it. I didn't even need to clean it up much because its noise suppressor on here was spectacular. So yeah, it was pretty much just record, put them there and play, because I didn't want to, these videos aren't showing off my engineering skills and how much I can alter a sound and make it sound really good in the studio. That might be for another video. I'd love to do lots of videos on that actually, because that's where I do get a chance to shine, and I love all the little fiddly parts and the little niggly things that you do to make a sound change immensely. I love it, but this is about what this can do. So I felt, in saying all that, I felt the flange held up on its own really well. I thought it had enough body and enough characteristics to it to stand as just one single take, plonk straight in the center. The guitar patches, the lead, sorry, let's go lead patch. The lead patch I felt was just a little bit too dry, and I think that was because, like all these things, I'm pretty much going to say the same thing about the rhythm, so let's put them in the same basket. By themselves, they sounded like it was going to work, but added into the mix, I felt like with the lead patch, the delay got a little bit lost too quickly, where if I were to dial in the delay after recording all the guitars and having it all sitting in the mix with the bass and the drums, I would emphasize the delay to have it louder so you could really hear it tail off a lot more and last for a lot longer as well. So it's the illusion of what you think it's going to sound like when you're playing with it compared to what it sounds like in the mix. Two completely different sports, for lack of a better term. So nothing against it. It's just stuff that we all need to try and think about when we do it. So that was definitely a thought that I had while doing it. And with the guitar, the rhythm guitars as well, I felt like they were a little bit dry, the ones that I came up with. But when I put them in the mix, I felt like they sat really nicely, which made me think if I could just give it a little bit more dynamics and a little bit more body, then it should sound better in the mix. They should sound a bit fuller. And I think that's what it was lacking a bit with the distortion I quickly dialed in there, was they weren't as full as what I would like it to be. And that's got to do with, mainly, is not comparing it to the mix while I'm actually doing it. So if this was a a more serious recording, and I did have my engineering little hat on, I would be absolutely going for the drums and bass first and see what frequencies and dynamics sit there first, and then work with that, which would mean I'd be adding a lot more bottom end to my rhythm tone to start with, and a lot of low mids as well to try thicken it up a bit without always doing your best without making it too much so it gets too soggy and too lost in the mix. But, that's just a really interesting comparison to what I came up with compared to how it put together and some reflection on it. But in regards to what the purpose of this video was to see how, not so much how quickly I could dial in a tone. It wasn't a race, but I tried my best not to doodle around with it too much, which means I missed out on a bucket load of stuff that I could have delved into a lot more to got a lot better sound. But from what we got with quickly, like I felt like it's definitely user friendly and really quick, and especially when we added Cole, another YouTuber that I'll put the link in the description before because I thoroughly enjoy his videos. He's a German engineer, and we come from the same generation. So when he talks about stuff, it reminds me a lot of my learnings from back in early 2000s, how equipment used to be then compared to how things are done now. Because he still thinks a lot like back then with a lot of stuff he does, and as do I. So I kind of really connect with him on that level. And he definitely knows his stuff and does some really good content on his YouTube channel. So I'm not here to promote him, but, you give a shout out where it's earned and where it's due, and that's for one of them. So when we added it to this device, which is also something that he did not design for, he did not put it together to be put into a device like this. So it's really cool that this has the capability to actually do that and utilize something like that. So I was really happy when it just worked and I put it in there, and when I dialed it in, I was like, this sounds good, I'll just use this. I actually forgot that I put it in there, no offense, but I did a while ago and didn't, I thought I'll try that one day, and looks like when I turned it on and saw it and remembered it, today was the day. But yeah, that is my quick rundown of what it was like recording this directly in, putting this under the spotlight and under the microscope with a guitar sound. So in saying that, if we were to kind of spruce it up a little bit more, there's obviously delving in a little bit more, but the same style of what I was, or putting it to an actual amp and utilizing the characteristics of this amp and these speakers instead, and utilizing all these characteristics and finding a nice blend between them. That will absolutely help this get a big step up or a leg up or whatever catchphrase you want to use. So that's definitely an option. And if you're keen for that, please let me know, because I've got no problem doing that at all. But like all these videos, my part of the conversation is only half of it. And I'd love to know your thoughts on it. How did you feel while I was dialing the tone? Do you feel like I came up with something really good and then skip past it too quickly, as I've been told I've done do a lot of times in my videos? Or do you think I came up with something that was the best out of the little that we did explore in this little GE200 device? How did you feel listening to the guitar tracks while I was dialing it in compared to when they were actually in the band mixed and added with the bass and the drums and doubled up on the guitars, and also having a center guitar for the melody? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on a device like this, how you can just plug it straight through and do it, compared to an actual amp and speakers where you have to mic them up and do stuff that's a lot more complex and fiddly, but get arguably better results, or maybe not better results, depending on your taste. And your taste is important, and your taste is correct because it is yours. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So like every YouTube channel, well, the majority of them anyway, definitely leave your comments below, so not only I can continue the conversation with you, but the community here can chime in on the conversation with your thoughts and share them and agree with them, or have some creative criticism. So definitely leave some comments there. I also have a Facebook page that I do most of my communicating to with my fans, with the community. So I'll leave that in the description below as well. So if you want to chase me up there to talk about either this gear or any other gears or other video ideas, or just chat about whatever in general, definitely chase us up there. And I think I've babbled on enough right now. So I'll do my usual sign off. Whether this video is in the foreground or the background, I thoroughly enjoy your company and joining me on this little journey with this video and all the other ones that I do. If you know anyone that might be interested in videos like this one or any of my other videos I do, please let them know I exist so I can really help it grow and become more than what it is. And if you have lasted this long and you haven't subscribed, please do, because that obviously helps the channel become more as well. And leaving a like always goes a long way too. So until next time, I look forward to chatting with you again, and please stay safe.